Welcome, everyone, as always, to the Sportaholic Podcast. I'm your host, Carlos Page, and I want to welcome on a guy that I've been checking out and following here in the Nashville area. I think he's doing a great job covering the Titans, and we're going to get to a few other things today. Let's welcome on Turron Davenport. Turron, how are you today, man?
Hey, man, every day's a good one, man. How's it for you?
Hey, man, just trying to keep up with everything. You know, the sports world, with where everything is coming at you at one time. I'm trying to watch NBA, then I switch over to the NFL. I think we all kind of in that boat right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Even you got baseball playoffs getting ready to start too. So
Yeah,
it's a lot, man.
yeah, man, no doubt. So I always wanted to speak to you, man, because I'm here in this Nashville market, and I've been trying to do some things on my side, you know, and I've seen a lot of growth in our market. I've been here for about just about all my life, you know, started off in Memphis, now I'm here in Nashville, and to see the growth in the market for sports. Every day I'm seeing a new podcast, a new medium, or anything that's popping up here. So I know you from, well, you started off in Philadelphia, but how do you compare like the Nashville market and this growth right now?
Yeah, I think it is just that. It's growing. I'm really hoping the baseball team gets here. I love baseball. That's actually my second favorite sport. So I'm hoping they do get the sounds up and running. It's a bit different from Philly, however, because you had all four in Philly, right? You got the Flyers in hockey, you got the Phillies in baseball, the Eagles, which they count as two in Philly, and then you got the 76ers, you know, trusting the process. So you're 4 for 4 there, and they even have soccer, just like the Nashville SC. They have that here. It's the Philadelphia Union. So all of the sports are there. And if you want minor league baseball, you could drive 30 minutes west to Reading and see the Reading Phillies. I saw guys like Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard flow through there. So it's different in that manner. But one thing I will say is this city is growing, and the fans, I mean, I interact with Titans fans. I from seeing how people are with the Predators, it seems like they're pretty on that too. But I really like the Titans fans. They're passionate about their team. They kind of have embraced that mindset of, you know, we haven't won it all, but we're striving to do it. So I think it's pretty cool that being a small market team, they still love that team, and being as though it's a team that is relatively new, right? It's not a 50-year history like how the Eagles have with Philadelphia.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. And Philly is such a tough market. You know, I start thinking about Michael Irvin on the ground and the crowd. I start thinking about, yeah, man, Santa Claus getting, you know, chunked batteries at him and things like that. And to come to Nashville, man, you know, we're a city that had Jeff Fisher for so many years, and half of the city didn't want to fire him, you know, after a while. So it's just, I know the difference in Philly and Nashville from that standpoint has to be 180 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Fisher wouldn't have lasted in Philly, for heaven's sakes, man. Look, Doug Peterson guided that team to their first and only Super Bowl trophy. And there are articles coming out and fans supporting those articles about getting rid of Doug Peterson. 3 years after he guided them to it. So I for sure, Jeff Fisher, he wouldn't have lasted. And no disrespect to Coach Fisher, because, you know, he was a solid coach. He's a great dude. I've talked to him a few times as well.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff is definitely cool. I talked to him a few times too. And, you know, I even joke with him, you know, in this market, man, you get a sense of people that Southern hospitality, people play nice and things like that. But speaking of Philly, one more question on that. How was it covering the Eagles on that Super Bowl run? We know Philly was thirsting for a Super Bowl. And after so many years, how crazy that moment was when you covered them.
Yeah, it was really crazy. I'm thankful for it, though, because that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? Through that success of that year, ESPN reached out to me, and that off season, you know, we got the ball rolling, and I was here in 2018 in July. So, but just to touch on how crazy it was, I mean, we have grown men coming up to you crying, you know, because they're so happy you won. When you have, you know, people within the organization so happy about it, coming up to you saying, hey, man, we did it. I'm like, I didn't do a thing, man. I just wrote about you guys and talk about it on TV. But, hey, man, I appreciate it. But then at the parade was the biggest thing, where just in watching the guys go through there. I waited at the art museum. Like, they had a separate bus for us to ride through. But
Yeah.
when I got to the art museum, I was standing there, and then when the players got there talking to them, Lane Johnson told me that this dude had an urn with his dad's ashes in it and handed it to him. Like, that's deep, man.
Wow.
So it just runs really, really deep as far as the support of the birds, as they call them. And that was unique, just getting to see just that city go on fire, man. Like, not literally, but go on fire, from a point of just everything just winning. Finally, that relief of being a champion, it was really cool.
Well, I'm with Turron Davenport of ESPN, covers the Titans locally here in Nashville. You can check him out on 102.5 The Game, the Nate and TD show. Talk to me about how that came together, man, with Nate and you and teaming up and doing a pretty good job, man. I caught it a couple of times. How did that come about?
Yeah, Nate's my guy, man. We have been in communication on Twitter, social media, etc. And it was I was in Baltimore. I remember in Baltimore for the divisional game. I'm walking across the pier, and I started getting notifications. So I looked at my phone. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And here, Nate had said he wanted to join the Nashville media, and then everybody kept saying, hey, you need to do a show with TD. And he replied, and it just kind of popped. So I sent the program director a text message like, hey, listen, man, I could do another show if you want. I would love to do that. And it just kind of festered. And then, 2 weeks before the season, he came to me and was like, hey, Nate wants to do a show with you. We're going to get it done. It's going to be the Friday show, and here we are.
That's what's up, man. Shouts out to 102.5 The Game. I was a former intern myself up there.
Okay.
Learned a few things that's got me on my way, so shouts out to the guys up there, man. So let's kind of change subjects, man. Let's talk about today. The world that we live in with equality. You see all the marches and the different things that's going on. One thing I know I take personal pride is trying to be in this industry as an African-American man. It wasn't always easy to get certain spots, and I'm still striving to get to certain places. But for those that aspire to want to be in broadcasting, they can try to look at you and yourself and see how you're thriving in the market. Talk about your experiences. I don't know exactly what you went through to get to the point that you are, but I'm sure just like any other African-American man dealing with an industry that's dominated not by the minority. What were your experiences going through it?
Yeah, well, to start out, I don't have a communications degree. I didn't take one communications class or anything like that. I was a dude in high school and throughout school who, played sports, but also always loved English class. So that just kind of gave me, I guess, a way to be able to jump into the industry. I had my AP courses in high school. Then once I got to college, I continued to play football. And it just, being able to explain the game in a way that's understandable and retainable for everyone, I think has been the key. That's something that I just kind of carried through. But my journey's been different, right? I designed a website of my own at that time. So we're talking about 2008. It was called Press Coverage Sports. And I was a 49ers fan. So it covered the 49ers. I had a couple of my teammates from college, Cheney University. Shout out Cheney. I had a couple of my teammates from college. One was writing about the Falcons. One was doing the Cowboys. And one was doing the Steelers. But I would go to 49ers games, and I had a business card that said Press Coverage Sports on it and had the website, and I would just hand it out. I'm handing out like 500 cards every game, and then people just started looking at it, and they liked it. And then social media, Twitter just really helped out a lot. And then eventually I did a post on Colin Kaepernick, and this is why I accept zero Kaepernick slander, because he is actually part of the reason why I'm where I am, because I did an article on him breaking down his first start against the Chicago Bears. And I was also doing football camps. And he was a guy that I was reaching out to his agents to try to do a football camp but the guy I was doing it with hated to fly, so it never came to fruition. But I kept in touch with his team, his agents at that time, and they saw the article. They sent it to him. He put it on his Facebook page.
Wow.
And then, lo and behold, websites and outlets in the Bay Area were reaching out to me. I started with Fansided. It was called Golden Bay Sports, and then Bay Area Sportsnet. I connected with them, and I was doing actual credentials. So instead of going to the games to watch, and as a fan, I'm going there in the press box with Matt Mayoko and, you know, a lot of the other reporters there. So it went to that, and then I was like, man, I can't really advance if I'm known as a fan of the team that I'm covering. So I said, okay, I could do the Ravens or the Eagles. I'm in that area. So which one am I going to do? I said Baltimore because I felt that Philly was too cutthroat at that time. You know, so I reached out to every outlet in Baltimore. The Baltimore Times, it was a black-owned paper. They retained me to do their Ravens work. I did that for a couple of years. At the same time, I was doing draft work for Football Game Plan and Pro Player Insiders. And then the Eagles Wire of USA Today opened up, and, you know, I took that on, launched it, grew it from 0 page views to 12 million. And we just, you know, that Super Bowl year, it took off. I got to write a book on Carson Wentz. I did that. The company is actually, the book is here. The company came to me about this book.
Look that up.
They sent me an email and they asked me about writing it. And I said, sure. And they said, well, there's one condition. You got to write it in 14 days. I did it in 12. But it's, you know, it's a, there's a lot of pictures, but there's content in there too. It's more like a tabletop type of book, but it's on Carson Wentz. So that was an experience. But then, you know, like I said, ESPN reached out to me. I did a couple phone interviews. June 15th, they had me up there, I had dinner with them and then interviewed with them the whole day, the following day. And they were like, yeah, well, we need it. And I told them, hey, look, you get buy one, get two free, right? Because I said I could podcast, I give you audio, I give you digital, and give you TV. And at the time, like when I was in covering Ravens stuff, going out to the Ravens facility and everything and to their games, I was in my basement. I taught myself how to produce my own show, right? I bought the Barrier mixing board, got the mic and all that stuff, and was able to loop in interviews that I took in the locker room and just put it all together. And I had my show on Spreaker and was making it happen, you know. So at the same time, I was also doing video work too. Like I would just do a practice breakdown, do interviews, you know, in the locker room and stuff like that. And that's why I say, if you're self-made, you know, you appreciate it more, but you have to make sure you cover all the bases. And that buy one, get two free, that kind of stuck with them. And you know, it was a good pitch to get the job.
Man, that's a wild story, man. I mean, to start off thinking that, you know, you just start off covering your favorite team, which a lot of people can relate to. I know so many guys that, you know, they want to write or they want to do something in the sports world, and your story can inspire a lot of people, man, because that means that, you know, if you're self-made, you do these things by yourself, and I can definitely relate to a lot of the things that I've been able to accomplish and try to get done, man. So you got 3 books that you wrote, man. So that one book turned into a couple more, huh?
Yeah, these 2 right here. This is with, and this is by a black-owned company, Emory Hunt Football Game Plan. It's a 2-part series. That's another one, and then I did this one. Here it is, right here. This was my most recent one, and that's probably gonna be my last one for a while. But this one came out. This was just documenting the championship series, the championship season rather for the Eagles. So yeah, it's been good, man.
Sorry, Titan fans. Turron can't do any other books here about your Titans for the foreseeable future. Now, if they win the Super Bowl, hey, who knows? All bets off.
Probably gonna have to do something.
So again, we're with Turron Davenport, ESPN, based out of here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can check him out on Twitter. What's the Twitter handle again?
It's T Davenport _NFL.